You're working really hard to rank your local business, but are you focusing in on what really matters and what will really make a difference? So in today's video, I'll be breaking down the top 15 local ranking factors and explain exactly what you need to do for each in order to improve your rankings. To make it practical, I'll be using a real-life example of a local business think tank and show you exactly how they measure up against these factors. So by the end of this video, and with Whitespark's help, you'll be crystal clear on exactly what you need to do in order to improve your local rankings. So let's dive in and get your business found on those local searches. So this here is the 2023 Whitespark report. And essentially what this report does is it shows you what is most likely to influence ranking factors. So what the author did is he went out and he interviewed these top local SEO experts, and then through a lot of testing and analysis, they decided what is the most important things that businesses can do in order to rank. And then they created these wonderful charts. Now the charts are split up into local pack finder ranking and local organic ranking factors. So before we move on, let me just quickly show you what the differences are between those. So the local pack is essentially the local 3-pack. It appears at the top of search results and is usually the first 3 businesses you see when you do a local search. Local Finder is the extended search of that. So if you look at the local 3-pack, below it, you'll see a button that says More Places. And if you click on that, that's the extended search, and that's called Local Finder. Now, I'm also just going to make a quick note about Google Maps. So you'll notice that Google Maps is not a separate category in the Whitespark report, but it's often considered to be part of the local search landscape, which is the local pack and local finder that we just talked about. Local organic is basically everything that appears under the local pack and finder. So if you do a Google local search, you'll see the 3-pack, you'll see that button that says More Places, and then below that, you'll see all of the search results. So those are more influenced by what's on your website and how your website is optimized for SEO. So what you're going to want to do is scroll down to the local pack, or just come over here to the left and click on Local Pack Finder Ranking. Okay, so this is what we want to look at. So what I like to do is look at this as tick boxes to make sure that I'm helping the client do really well on the top ranking factors. So let's just have a quick look. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit the expand data. Okay, so primary Google business category, we talked about how important that first category is, so that gets a check mark. Keywords in the business title, and again, depending on your company name, this may or may not have already happened. So luckily for the client that we're working on right now, she has 1 keyword in her business title, so that's cool. So there's usually not too much you could do about that unless you change your business name, so we're just going to move on. So proximity of the address to the point of search. So remember how we talked about how important it is to try to build that local community and be known in those local areas. So that's where we looked at all those different local keywords. So that's where this is going to come in really, really important, because then her business will be closer to those local searches. So this is having a physical address in the city of search. So if your physical business address is in the city that you're trying to rank for, that's really going to help. So she gets a check mark for that. Okay, this one here, removal of spam listings through spam fighting. So what I'm going to mention here is that it's really, really important to check where your business is listed online and to regularly check that. Now you can do that through something called a citation audit, for example, and there's businesses out there that offer that service. So basically, some ways to prevent spam is to make sure that your business is listed consistently the same everywhere. So that's the NAP we had talked about. Okay, so your name, address, and phone number is consistent. Otherwise, Google might think it's spam. Now, what might happen is if you use, for example, a listing service that goes out and puts your company name, address, and phone number out across the web, a lot of these companies do that fast because they use like computerized systems to do that. And so they don't always check if where they're listing you is a spam site or not. So it's just something to be really mindful and careful of, to only use good quality services, and to also really check out the reputation of services before you use them. And also, sometimes a competitor or just somebody trying to help you out might put your listing in a business listing site and accidentally put incorrect information. So these are all the things you have to be really careful about. And as you can tell, it's one of the top ranking factors. So really important to do what you can to clean up the spam and keep everything consistent and legit. So what I'm adding to Think Tank's action sheet is to do a citation audit for them. Okay, high Google ratings. Oh, basically the Google ratings are the average of all your reviews. So as long as you've got great reviews, you are going to hit one of the top ranking factors. Additional Google Business Profile categories. So remember, we did spend some time going over what other categories Think Tank could be ranked in. So this is where that would fit in. So you put in your main category and then try to add in some other categories as well. So ranking factor number 8 is all about your Google reviews. How many Google reviews do you have, and how many of the reviews actually have content in them? Because people could just leave a star review with no content at all, but Google obviously thinks it's more valuable when they do take the time to put some content and some words in there. So that's ranking factor number 8. Really, really important to get reviews. Verify Google Business Profile, which we've all done by now, right? So we're going to just put a check mark there. So proximity of address to the centroid. So within the city you're in, how close are you to that city center? Keywords in the Google business page, landing page title. So when people click on your listing in your Google Business Profile and they get taken back to your website, so whether that's your homepage or a landing page or another page, just make sure that your main keyword is in the title of that page. Okay, ranking factor 12 is the completeness of your Google Business Profile. So remember when we clicked on the profile strength in the last lesson, and basically that just showed you how Google will actually nicely prompt you to what else needs to be done on your profile in order to complete it. So just make sure to take that step, because it's really important. Like, you could see how important of a ranking factor that is. Ranking factor number 13 is all about consistent reviews over time. So if you go months without any reviews and all of a sudden you decide to do a campaign and you go out and you get a whole bunch of reviews at once, and then you go for a few more weeks or months and not get any reviews, well, Google doesn't like that. If you get your reviews naturally over a set period of time, or have a process so your customers can easily leave reviews for you when you regularly get those reviews, that's what Google's looking for here. So with item number 14, I briefly mentioned it, but this is a great place to mention it again. For each of those services that you offer, it's really great in your Google Business Profile, have those as separate services so people could see what your services are in a nutshell and get interested in them. But you also want to take them back to a dedicated page for those services on your website. So those are local pages with your local services being offered. Very important to do, and a very high ranking factor. And ranking number 15 is all about having your keywords in heading tags on your website. So those are basically your main titles and things like subtitles on your website, but they need to be coded as an H1 tag or an H2 tag or an H3 tag. And you have to know what order to put them in, and they have to be organized. So that is all factors that you could take action on your website. So now that you know the top 15 local ranking factors, it's time for you to take some action. Now remember, success comes from learning, but also applying what you've learned. Now that doesn't mean you have to do everything all at once right away. Take maybe 1 to 2 ranking factors, work on that every day or even once a week. And within weeks, you're going to be shocked at the difference it makes in your local ranking and also in the quality of those leads that you're bringing in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, and I also want to know how you're going to apply what you just learned. So in the comments below, let me know which factor you're going to take action on right away.